everyone, I'm Holly with Stella Mari's Quilts. Today we're going to work on this quilt behind me. We're calling it Lattice Panel. For this particular one we used the panel, it's called Wild and Free. It's by Rick Unger with Northcut Fabrics. And you're also going to need some additional fabric here. I'm going to look at my notes. We have color 1, which is used for this lattice work in here. You'll need about 2/3 of a yard for that. You'll need about half a yard of our cornerstone accents in here, as well as your inner border. We're going to need a 1/4 yard of setting strip here, and at the bottom, I'm calling those the sills. Then you're needing another yard, which is for this pieced border. You're going to use a yard where we use this dark blue grunge, and then a border contrast, which is this polka dotted batik that we have in here. That's 3/8 of a yard for just this pieced border, plus another yard for the outer border. And then you'll use your binding and your backing. This quilt finishes out at 60 by 76. So let's go ahead and grab a cup of tea and we'll get started. Now my mat is not big enough to lay out this entire panel and still be on the mat fully. So I'm going to have to get a little creative with how I do this. I'm going to start by just putting it over the side on one end, and I'm going to work from the other. I'm going to use my mat to help make sure I have nice straight lines. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the top, I'll cut the bottom, and then I'll cut up the sides. So from each end, we're going to cut 3 2.5-inch strips. Because my ruler is not 7 or so inches wide, I'm going to have to do it carefully. And I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to go part way, then slide my ruler so that I can get the rest of the distance. I'm going to pull this a little bit away so that I know where my line is so I can keep moving. I don't want the weight of the panel to start pulling it down and distorting things, so I just have it kind of looped up on the back so it's all on the table but out of the way. Move this up here. Get this all lined up. And then do my next one. Whoops. Guess I missed a spot here. Let me just catch that. Okay. I would prefer to be able to keep all of these together while I'm doing it, but like I said, my mat is not large enough for this entire panel, so I'm going to have to do it in sections, but I'm going to keep track of everything that I'm doing so that the puzzle of it will be easy to put together. Okay, so I have my 3 2.5-inch strips. I've kept them nice and aligned with exactly how they were. And then I'm going to cut 2.5 inches in from each of the sides. I'm going to do that 3 times. So I've got 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do the same thing from the other end. 1. I know 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5, so I can just come in 5 now since I didn't shift anything. But I do need to see where that cut line was in order to get my last cut in. As we're putting these together in the piecing that we're going to do, we want to make sure that all of our sections stay lined up and the picture comes back to us. So I'm now going to just stack these up in rows, and I'm going to use a little label to tell me which row it was. So it's kind of upside down in the picture so that it's easy for me to cut. But I'm going to just do row 1. I don't like the sticky of my Post-its to be on my fabric, so I like to just fold it over so it's not sticky on the other end. And I'm going to just always stack the same way. I'm going to have my row number so that it's the orientation it should be. I'm just going to stack them up right on top of each other in the direction that they should be. So then this will stack like this, and I will clip it, and then my stack has the top because I have it labeled in the way that you'd read it, and they're all in order from left to right, and that's in my stack. I'm going to go ahead and do that with the bottom section, and then we'll talk about the top, the middle section. Now that I've cut 3 2.5-inch strips from the top, 3 2.5-inch strips from the bottom, and then subcut those with 3 2.5-inch sections from either the right and left sides, it's time to prepare the center portion of the panel. And we're going to do the same or similar thing. We're going to just lay this out. I have the left side closest to me, and I've got it nice and smooth. It's kind of crumpled up on the edge here just to keep it all up on the table so the weight's not pulling it down, but it's nice and smooth in the section that I'm actually working with. And we're going to cut 3 2.5-inch strips in from the side. The distance is longer than my ruler, so I'm just gonna, as much as I can, and then slide my ruler down to continue. Check to see kind of where that is. Okay. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. And I want to make sure that I keep these in order so that as we lay the rest of the piecing together, I don't have any of these mixed up. So I'm going to just keep stacking the way I stacked the top and the bottom so that I'm stacking from left to right. I'll leave these here, and then I'll cut from the other side 3 2.5-inch strips, and then I will have my center section, which is row number 4, all laid out together. Now that I have my border strips prepared, I'm going to take my 9 patch units. I'm going to add them to the ends of my shorter side, which is my 36-inch. So I'll just add it here, and then I'll add one here. I'll do that to both of my 36 borders. Then I will sew the longer borders onto my panel center first. When sewing it onto the panel, I'm going to sew it, that's not the right one for the side, but I'm going to sew it so that the triangles on the corners here have the long edge to the panel center. I'll do the long edges first, then I will add my shorter edges that have the 9 patches added to finish that border. The rest is just adding borders, and then we'll throw it on the long arm and be ready to be finished. Now that I have all of the rows sewn together, I've laid out just a couple of rows to show you how we're going to put together the larger unit. We're going to start with the panel row, and we'll have the row number 1, then we'll have a sashing row, then we'll have row number 2 of the panel, sashing, row 3, sashing, and so forth. We're just going to keep going until we've started and ended with the panel row. I've also pressed my seams so that the sashing strip, I pressed towards those cornerstones, and the panels, I pressed towards the panel. That way when we put the rows together, our seams will nest and we'll get a nice point and our corners will be nice and tight as we sew them together. So I'm going to go ahead and sew together this entire unit. And here's what the panel now looks like with everything sewn together. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1.5 inch border around all 4 sides using this same fabric that was used in these sashings. And here's part of what that panel looks like now that I've added that 1/2 inch border all the way around. But at this point, we're just going to keep adding borders until we're done. So now we're going to talk about the borders. We're going to cut 5 6.5 inch strips of our border fabric. I'm using this dark blue grunge. You'll sew them end to end, and then you'll measure your top to see how big it is after you've kind of gotten to this point. I like to fold mine in half and then fold it in half again so that it's in quarters, and then measure from the center lines to see what our measurement is. So mine came out to be 36 by 53, and so I've then trimmed these pieces to be 2 that are 36 and then 2 that are 53. I did that because we're going to prepare a unit to go in the corners. So the first thing we're going to do with this is we're actually going to add a snowball to the sides. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I've already drawn a line from corner to corner down the center of my 6.5 inch square here. I've also drawn a line 1/2 inch away from that. I'm going to sew down both of those lines and then trim away in the center. That'll just give me some 1/2 square triangles all ready for another project later down the road. I'm going to place my squares in the corner on this end, and I'm going to sew on the drawn line from corner to corner. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite end, and I'm going to place it so that, where's my drawn line? There it is. So that the seam is pointing towards the center. They're both pointing towards each other in the center. So I'll go ahead and sew on the drawn lines for both of these. And just to save fabric for a later project, I'm going to sew on the second line, and then I'll have some 1/2 square triangles. For the corner units, we're going to make some 9 patches. So we're going to take our fabric that's used for the corner snowball, and I'm going to lay this out with fabric from the rest of it. Come on, lay down. And I'm going to prepare 4 of these 9 patch units. I'll go ahead and just sew each of the rows together and then sew the rows. I'll probably chain piece it, so I'll flip this side over, sew, flip this side over, sew, and then open it back up, add the 3rd square, and then sew the rows together. Thank you for joining me today working on this beautiful quilt. I really enjoyed designing this method for utilizing a panel within your quilt. I hope you enjoyed it as well. This does measure out nice and big with all of the borders at 60 by 76, so it makes a great throw. And I hope you enjoy this. We'll incorporate it in one of your quilts, and you join us again next time for more. Until then, cheers and happy quilting.